Let's go. Hey, HoneyPots. Yes, we still have technical difficulties, and it's the same day. That's why I'm in the same clothes, because I'm trying to get all of this out to you at the same time, because it's stuff that I recorded, but your girl's having technical difficulties. So, yes, I am here again, and there is no real editing. So, this is one take, okay? So I am here to do the one take and tell you about my epic story time. So, can I even say this? Yes, of course I can. So I had a great time with Epic, actually. I had a great time, but you know, with all great times, there are some things that can happen along the way, right? So first, I get there. I went to Korea early because I had already studied in Korea, as you know, if you listen to the previous episode that I talked about. So, you know, I already studied there, so I had experience being in Seoul. I knew, you know, a bit about Korea already. So when I came back to teach, you know, I was so excited. Orientation happens. Actually, I just saw on my Facebook, the memory today was from when I got back, or yeah, it was, what is today? January 29th, and it said 2014, 9 years ago, guys, 9 years ago is when I came back to teach, and wow, crazy. I'm almost a decade. So yeah, first in Korea, yeah, a decade ago. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Time flies so fast. Anyway, trying to eliminate I went to orientation. So orientation was 2 weeks, I believe, and the experience at orientation was great because, you know, they paid for your room. You got like buffet style meals. It was really awesome. And I was like, oh, this is great. However, there was trauma, which I was not expecting. I was like, oh my gosh, why am I put back in a high school style situation? I am not this type of person. I hate drama. I am very kind to everyone that I meet. Unless you do something to me, you know, I'm going to be nice to you. I love meeting new people, but yeah, there was some drama because of who I was hanging out with at that time. So I was hanging out with mostly these guys at a table, not the same color as me. There were different races though, so I don't even know what the issue was, but yeah, there were some, I guess ill feelings because they thought that I didn't want to talk with them, the other group. So I was just like, no, I'm just really kind. Also, we really clicked. These were the first people I met when I came here, and they were hilarious. They were hilarious. And also, one of the guys were super attractive. So why would I not sit with them when I found this guy, you know, visually attractive and, you know, mentally, and he was hilarious. So, you know, of course I'm going to sit with him. He's still my friend to this day. So yeah. What? What? And yeah, anyway, there was a little bit of drama there, but you know, nothing too bad. The real issue started when I got to my town. So the last day of your Epic orientation, you will get your placement. So I knew that I was going to Hagwons. That was all I knew until the last day. And they were like, you're going to be in Samchuk. And I'm like, eh? So Samchuk is way out on the East Sea, as they say here in Korea, East Sea. They do not call it the Sea of China, or the China Sea. Which one is it? Okay, they don't call it that, but yeah, just the East Sea. So we get there. It's cool. I was really sad because I was like, oh, please, you know, let one of these people that I know be going to my same town. Nope. Nope. Sadly, none of those people I connected with at orientation were going to my town. They were closer to Seoul than I was. I think it's about 3 hours away from Hongdae, where I mostly hung out in Seoul. So that was really tough for me. Okay, so the apartment I got was only a 5-minute walk from my school. It was very nice. It was actually a really nice apartment. Didn't have any issues at all with that apartment. The principal at the school was really great, really sweet old guy. Sadly, I think the year I left, he also had to leave. but because they can only stay at their schools for every 5 years or something like that. So he had to go. And I was really sad because I was just like, this is a great principal. Like, what if the next one's not good? And I mean, that's a huge possibility. So he was a really, really sweet guy. I wonder if he's doing well, if he's still alive. You know, you never know, because he was actually quite old, but he was very sweet, very welcoming. And I think one of the best things about the public school was that we, at that time, what is it called? Hweshig, or company dinner. I just wanted to make sure you got that Korean word. Or company dinner was still very big. And I actually really enjoyed mine. Like, there was a retirement one. There was a welcoming teachers one. They had like a goodbye teachers one. I was like, this school is dope. And, you know, of course they bring out the alcohol. I was like, this is so awesome. Like, man, this is dope. Like, I didn't really talk much because, you know, mostly everybody only knew Korean. But they were trying to hook me up with a teacher. They were trying to hook me up with one of the teachers out there, one of the dude teachers. I mean, the dude they were trying to hook me up with was actually way older. And I was just like, I think it was like 40 something. I think I was 20, maybe 26, 28. I can't do math that fast. I can't think of how old I was at that time. 9 years ago. How old was I 9 years ago, guys? I don't know. But yeah, anyways, I was in my 20s. He was in his 40s. I was like, he is not my type. But the other guy, the other teacher was my type, but he was also really popular with all the teachers. So the other younger teachers were into him and trying to get with him. So I was just like, ugh, I'm not taking some 40-year-old man just because the guy I'm attracted to is taken. You know, also, you know, that guy, he tried to talk to me. He really did. He tried to speak at that dinner. I remember that first dinner. He poured my drinks, everything. I was like, this is interesting. They were like, you too? Love connection? I was like, no. I was like, this is too wild for me. Like, this is too wild. You guys need to chill out with this mess. And also, you know, that was my, what is it? It was 2 years since I had broken up with my ex-boyfriend. So, it was still, you know, it was still really tough for me. It took about 5 years for me to really get over my ex. So, because just so much trauma and stuff dealing with that relationship, which if you guys do want to hear that story, is not Korea related, but if you would like to hear that story, I may consider it, talking about it on my actual main channel, which is Musical Soul. If you didn't know, that is actually our main YouTube channel, and we have started Korean vlogging in Korean this year, so you will see more of the Korean speaking and see how my skills improve throughout the year. So hopefully things will go that way. Little plug there. So back to the story. And yeah, so I was just like, no, not feeling that. But they were so fun. I mean, cake. They gave us hae, that was my first time having, what is it called? I mean, it's called hae, but it's sashimi. So it's the cold cut fish. And I've never had that. I'm not really a fish person anyway because I have some seafood allergies. So I have to be very careful. So I was really nervous while I was there eating it because I'm just like, they always want to eat seafood because we're on the sea by the ocean. So seafood is very big out there in Hagwons. It was delicious though. It was delicious. Oh, stop saying Ren, stop saying It was really delicious. So I enjoyed it. And like the dips they had for it, woo! It was top notch. If you've never tried it, try it at least once, guys, but hopefully someone else pays for it because it is pricey. I would not pay for it myself. If I were going out, I would never pay for it myself. I might go halfies with someone, but that's not a dish that, you know, I mean, it was good, but, you know, I'd rather have hot grilled meat than that stuff. All right, so after, you know, these dinner things, during the actual school year, things I thought were okay, I was planning the whole time to apply to go teach in Seoul. So I already said, you know, I went to school in Seoul. So that is where I felt most comfortable. That is where mostly all my friends were. So I wanted to be in Seoul. So with the EPIK program, you can apply to change your area. So I applied, or I talked to the coordinator who placed me, and she's like, yeah, you just have to get this letter and blah, blah, blah. You'll be at the top of the list. If you get it soon, you get it in before the new recruits. And I was like, okay, cool. And she's like, you'll have an advantage because you're already in Korea and you're already, been a year at your school and would have finished a contract. And I said, oh, okay, great. And yeah, baby, that didn't happen. It didn't happen. You want to know why that didn't happen? Well, let me tell you guys. Let me just tell you what they did to your girl. So I taught so there were 3 co-teachers, there's 3 co-teachers, but one was the supervisor. One was the main co-teacher, which I didn't really teach with. The other foreign girl who was from Ireland, she was dope. She mostly taught with her. I taught with the other one who wasn't counted as a teacher. She was a conversation specialist, though she was the best at English. Better than the supervisor, better than the main co-teacher. She just didn't have a teaching license. She had a conversation specialist certification. And I'm just like, why is she not the teacher? Why is she not the leader over these classes when she has the best language skills? And she really has the best language skills. Like, I could have conversations with her. She understands it all. Very brilliant lady. So yeah, it just really frustrated me that when she told me that, I was like, wait, what? I was like, that's crazy. But anyway, I go to them to try to change. Say, I would like to go teach in Seoul. Here's the paper. I gave it to the co-teacher I mostly work with. So one, there was already ill feeling once I handed it to the co-teacher I mostly teach with because I didn't know. So Korea has this hierarchy system, right? So someone is over someone else, someone is over that other person. But I didn't know that I was supposed to give it to the main co-teacher, or even better, the supervisor. Now, the main co-teacher was salty because I didn't give it to her. And they were like, oh, well, why did you give it to her? She can't fill this out for you because she's not an actual teacher. I was like, what? I was like, but she's the one I mostly work with. She's the one who, I mostly teach with. So I assumed that I would give it to her. They were like, no, she's the main co-teacher. So it's what she says. And she's the actual teacher. She's just the conversation specialist. So one, I was annoyed because they just made it seem like my main co-teacher, the one I taught with the most, wasn't worth, writing this note. And I'm just like, she should be the one to write it either way because she's the one I work with. Why would somebody else I don't work with? I taught like 1 or 2 classes with the other lady, then I taught all the other classes with the other lady who's the conversation specialist. So, Korea sometimes, man, this stuff doesn't make sense, and you really have to get used to it and try to roll with the punches, but, it will frustrate the heck out of you. So I had to do some whoosah, because it was frustrating. I was just like, y'all don't make any sense. This is not logical, but okay. So anyway, they say, we're going to have a meeting. We're going to talk about it. We'll get back to you. Okay. So I think they had, I don't know when they had their meeting or when this happened. When did they get to talk to each other? They ended up talking to each other about me, and they come back to me the next day. And they're like, oh, we need to discuss about, you wanting to go teach in Seoul. I'm like, okay, cool. So what's about it? And I'm excited because I'm thinking, oh, okay, they're going to give me my papers. I'm going to be set to turn it in. No, JK, Ren, JK. You're actually not doing a good job. You keep doing the same PowerPoints. They're not exciting for the students. And we don't know if you're really qualified to go teach in Seoul yet. We see that you're doing your master's degree here in teaching, and you've improved a lot since you first started. However, we would like to see these 3 changes happen before we fill this out for you. And I was just like, what? I was like, I've already been here for over half the year, over 6 months. You've never said not one thing to me about a lesson. Not one thing. You always tell me my classes are fun, the students enjoyed it. And now when I want to come to you because I want to leave your school, you got to come at me sideways? What? Like, I was so taken aback. And I was like, one, this is not my first time teaching. This is my first time teaching in Korea. This is not my first time teaching. So I was just like, I'm not comprehending. And also, the lessons that I'm teaching are the ones y'all told me to teach. And I told her that. I said, this is what you told me to teach. They're like, no, we didn't want you to just teach us lessons. We wanted you to use it as a guide. I said, you didn't say that. I said, if you would have told me that, then that was different. I said, I had asked about changing the lessons, and you told me to just use what is there. So how is it my fault? You know, I said, this is really unfair to me. And they were like, she was like, oh no, just calm down. You know, Koreans are very passive aggressive. So, you know, we usually don't say anything until we absolutely need to. And I was like, that is so unhelpful, especially in a teaching environment. How can you improve classrooms? How can you improve student learning if you're afraid to talk to the teacher and tell them if there is some issue going on in the classroom that affects the students? Like, my mind was blown, y'all. Because I legit educator, like really going through the process, studying all this. And I mean, I put in all that time. Any free time I had, I was sitting there researching different things to help L2 learners to be better than like foreign language students to improve themselves. And I was trying to come up with ways that could improve their learning and help them acquire language skills, language acquisition even better. So to hear this was mind-blowing to me, just mind-blowing. And so that happened. I did it. They were like, oh, let's see if, make these improvements within the week. I made the improvements, whatever. They wrote me my letter, guys. They wrote me the letter. You know what this letter pretty much said? The letter, they wrote it in all Korean, which is fine. They're Korean. They wrote it in all Korean, but it's for an English program. They're the English ones over at English department, so I thought it would be in English, but whatever. They wrote it in Korean. I sent it to my Korean friend. I said, does this look like a recommendation letter to you? And he was like, what is this trash? Like, that is literally what he sent back. He was like, what is this trash? He was like, you need to just throw this away. He was like, don't send this to any company. I was like, is it that bad? He was like, so he called me. He's like, they only talked about your personality. It was like, you're a good teacher. The students really love her. She has good rapport with them. And she keeps the room exciting. Nothing about my teaching ability, nothing about, my instructional development, nothing about that. And I'm like, how in the world can this be considered as a recommendation letter? You are adults, you are in your 40s, and you're writing me this recommendation letter like someone fresh in college. And I wouldn't even write like that because, one, I love writing, and I'm good at writing. So, not to brag, but that's one of my talents. So I was just really taken aback. And I've written recommendation letters myself for other people, and when I was in my supervisor positions in the US, so I was really, really thrown. I was really thrown. I didn't even ask them to redo it. I just said, you know what? I said, if I need to stay out here one more year, I'm not going to be at this school. I'm not going to be at this school. And you know what's so crazy? What's so crazy after this happened was my vacation. So all this happened before my vacation. Then my vacation hits. I go to the doctor prior to my vacation because I was having so many stomach issues. I stopped having lunch in the cafeteria. I was eating salads and stuff at the job because my stomach was all in turmoil. And then my friend was like, my bestie was like, I think you're pregnant. I said, baby girl, no, I better not be. And then I get to the US. I do my own pregnancy test. I took 4 pregnancy tests, and they all were iffy. Because it was really light line and then no line. And so I ended up pregnant anyway. So that all just fell through. And that was a mess as well because I called the head manager to ask if I should stay at the school or if he thought it was best for me to leave because I didn't want to cause any issues for the school. And I was like, oh, is there a way that I can stay? because I really wanted to stay. I wanted to finish my contract because, you know, in EPIK, they tell you if you don't finish your contract, the school's not going to be able to get another teacher. They did have one other foreign teacher, thankfully, but, you know, it's not the same. So my students would not have a teacher, or the other teacher would have to suffer because they're going to have to try to put her into more classes, which I didn't want to happen. So once I told them I was leaving, I said for family reasons, because that's what the provincial manager, not area manager, provincial manager told me. And this guy really upset me because I later found out that I could have stayed. I could have taken maternity leave. And my the old co-teacher, so I didn't tell them why I was leaving. And so, like, my last 2 weeks there, she was really pressuring me and like, why are you doing this to us? I can't believe you're leaving. I thought you liked it here. Is it because is it because of the sole recommendation letter thing? And, you know, she was like, I'm just so hurt. You know, the students are going to be so hurt. So she was really guilt tripping me. And I was just like, you know, I have to think of my family first. And of course, it's not even about my family. It was about me because I was pregnant. And so I'm pregnant and being freaking stressed out at the school because I'm being, you know, stressed the freak out. Because also I felt so badly. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay. But the freaking provincial manager didn't tell me those options. I didn't know at the time. And this is why I say it's so important to review your contract, so important to know the laws in Korea when it comes to teaching or any job that you may take. If it's in tech or whatever, you need to know the laws regarding the different areas that may, you know, be beneficial to you. So there was another pregnant lady at my school, and I wish I would have talked to her as well, because, you know, she was the special education teacher. She was so sweet. But yeah, so I didn't tell my co-teacher. I left and posted. Once I got home and got my first sonogram there, I posted Lily's, my daughter's sonogram picture on my Facebook. And my kids, the students, had added me on Facebook. So they told the co-teacher and showed her, oh my gosh, this is why teacher left. She's pregnant. And so I got a long apology message. It was really sweet. A long apology message about that, you know, saying, I'm so sorry. If I would have known you're pregnant, I wouldn't have said those things to you. She's like, I wish you would have told us. Like, we all feel so badly now. I said, they told me not to tell you. You know, they told the principal. The principal knew what was going on. I said, but they told me not to tell you. I said I wanted to tell you, but I didn't know what would happen if I told you. So I didn't want to take that risk. I said, but I felt really badly. I said, you know, I didn't really have ill feelings toward her because, you know, she didn't know the situation. And you know, she knew that I liked being there. But, you know, since it did happen after that, and then of course she was like, why'd you even go on vacation if you knew you were going to leave? I was like, I didn't know, obviously. So I didn't know for sure that I was pregnant until I came back from vacation, because the doctor called me and like I had to go back for to get my results, because I did tests before I left. I had to come back, get my results, and he's like, oh yeah, you're pregnant. Here's a bunch of stuff, go to the office. So yeah. And then the last story time from this is from this time, since, this is about EPIK, was when I was working and I would wear jeans. Usually I wore jeans because I'm very, I can be very tomboyish. Like, if you saw what I'm wearing now, it's a little girly. I'm like in a crop top tee. You can't see down there because this is the only place I can put my camera that's high enough where you can see my face. But unless I'm sitting, but yeah, I'm wearing a crop top and jeans. I love my jeans, but I'm very tomboyish, and I was more so then. But I go through my really girly phases. So I was really in tomboy style when I first got here, like just jeans, t-shirt. Nice t-shirt, because it was a school I was working. So casual, comfy, and yeah. So maybe after 3 months, I wore my first, it had to be right at the beginning. So maybe in the first month of teaching, because February, March, April, May. Yeah, in the first month of teaching, maybe the second week, I wore a skirt. Or the second or third week, I wore a skirt, and they were just like, you look really fat in jeans. You should just wear skirts until you can lose the weight. And I was just like, who asked for your opinion? In my head. I didn't say that out loud, but I was just like so shocked. Like, one, I had lost a lot of weight before I came to Korea, so I was already really proud of myself for losing that weight. And then to have someone tell me, like, don't wear jeans because they make you look fatter, you should just only wear skirts, like, that was hurtful. I was just like, man, what in the world? And the only reason why I wore a skirt that day was because I didn't know, like, the dress code, and I was just like, okay, let me see how short these teacher skirts are, what skirts can I wear. Also, I had to wait. I think I waited to get, like, to go shopping, because I was shopping there. I was able to buy clothes, so my body size was not the size of now, because I was able to buy clothes at the stores here in Korea. So I went shopping to get some skirts, and yeah, that's why I wore it. So these ladies, they always talked about losing weight in the office, and they were like trying Garcinia Cambogia, asked me what I thought about it. I was like, yeah, it's very popular in the US too. A lot of people use it. It's in a lot of weight loss products. So, they're like, oh, we've been trying to lose weight for so long and blah, blah, blah. We're eating healthy. You should consider doing that too. I'm like, yeah, but they didn't know about my life. They didn't know how much I had weighed before I came there. I was like right at 200 pounds before I went there. And then I dropped to, I think I was 190. Wait, yeah, 190. I was in the right at 190 when I got there. And then, no, I was over 200. Then I dropped to 190. And then because of this situation, I said, you know what? Let me show them. And I lost 10 pounds every month. And so my birthday month, I really, showed out, because I was like, look at me, I'm down so much weight. So I didn't wear jeans again. Until I lost all the weight. And then when I wore jeans, they were really shocked. And they were like, you lost that much weight? Because I started wearing like the tomboy styles though. I would wear like a big shirt with a skirt. So I just wore black skirts, with black tights, and I would wear like larger, like kind of shirts with the skirt, because they were like, oh, why are you white? They would always ask me like, oh, your shirt looks so big, because I didn't want them to see my body changing. That much. I mean, of course, they could probably tell in my face, because my face did slim down, but I didn't want them to be able to tell, because I'm just like, you sat there and said this to me. But that was Korean style. That's Korean style. They're very blunt when it comes to looks, because it is a society that's very built on looks and plastic surgery and, trying to show your best self. So, I had to learn to not take that personally and work through that. So I lost that weight and I felt great about it. And now I'm on that journey again. Yay, me. But I'm actually doing really well right now with my current weight loss. I already lost right at 10 pounds in the previous month, so I'm going for 10 pounds again this month. So I'm really excited about everything that I've accomplished so far. But anyways, guys, that is the end of our Gurjam story time, and I hope that you enjoyed this little interesting story. It was quite longer than I had anticipated, but I also forgot that I wanted to tell everything that happened with EPIK, because since I just did the EPIK episode, I thought it'd be more fitting to just tell everything that happened at once in one shoot. The next one is going to be on Hagwons and teaching Hagwons, guys. So teaching at Hagwons, and then of course you'll get my Hagwons story time, because baby, that is a wild one. And so with that, Gurjam Ren out, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, HoneyPots.
Hello, HoneyPots. Thank you for joining us in today's Gurjam story time. Hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to check out our YouTube channel as well.